Hello and welcome back to the Percepta Leadership Series. I am Kellen, your co-host, along with Rachel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back, and we're happy to be back with you as well.
Yes, very much so. Today we have a very special episode. I think they're all very special, but today is a special episode because we have a new guest who hasn't been on any of our recordings, which is fantastic. I love it. Thomas Canny. He will be joining us and talking about who he is, what he's doing, all that kind of fun stuff. Just want to thank everyone that continues to join into the Percepta Leadership Series here on LinkedIn. It's always appreciated, and we always look forward to having more folks on to talk about all the things that's going on in Percepta. There's lots of cool stuff going on, and as you're going to see today, there's some really cool stuff that we're doing. So really looking forward to the conversation. Thomas, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you today.
Thanks so much. Super happy to be here.
Before we go any further, can we make sure that you give us the background that you're using? Because I love that. That took my breath away when I saw it. I love it. I want it. I want it for myself.
Absolutely. I'll send it right over.
Thank you.
Good. Perfect. All right. Well, as I mentioned, we're going to just kind of dive right into Thomas, what he's doing, what he's working on, where he's located, put us on the map. Tell us a little bit about who you are, and we'll kind of just start having a conversation. Thanks for joining, Thomas. Appreciate it.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm Thomas Canny, he, him. I'm a trainer. I'm in Houston. I've been with Percepta almost 3 years, and I love what I do. I think my favorite thing about what I get to do as a trainer is I get to sort of establish the culture for new people when they come in. You know, I have a new team of people coming in, 4 or 5 times a year, and I get to spend 4 or 8 weeks with them and let them know the kind of company that they've joined. And I think I really, really enjoy that part about what I do.
I love that too. I bet some of your team are probably watching this as we post it on LinkedIn and put it out there. But Kellen, every time we're able to talk to people who impact a person's experience at a company is just awesome, right?
Well, and the way that you said that just rings so true to like how I feel about things, and you're setting the culture, and I love it. Like that is such a cool thing, and it's important because we, the people that work here, are the ones that do that. So to hear that it's coming from you guys from the very beginning is so cool, and that's something that I think is a really cool thing to think about as our employees are ones that do that.
And Thomas, I'd love to ask you, can you recount for us a little bit too? Like, let's imagine right now that you're greeting new people onto the floor and to your team on the first day. Can you describe to us kind of like what do you feel like that they're feeling? Can you kind of sense, and then tell us what you do to put them at ease or just embrace them into their new work and their new job?
Sure. So I think so many of us have gone through an experience where we see a new company and we see all these shiny, flashy things that they want us to believe about this company. And, they sell us on who they are. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I loved when I joined Percepta is that those things that I saw that were shiny and attracted me to the company, I got to experience those. So when I have a new group of people coming into my classroom, whether it's virtual, whether it's here on site in Houston, one of the things that I love to do is just let them know, hey, all those things that you read about us on our website, all those things you hear about from employee testimonials, like that's real. Like the people who are going to come here and visit your classroom, they're going to come in with smiling faces, not because they want to put on a show for you, but it's because we enjoy what we do. And I love being a part of that.
Yeah, we say that pretty often here on the show, and it's not because it's what we just want people to hear. It's true. The people at Percepta are genuinely some of the best people I've ever had the opportunity to work with, and it's such a cool place. And Thomas, you mentioned before we started recording that you were a trainer, obviously, and you even it's so evident because you were even helping us figure out one side of the technical side. So I think I think that's such a cool thing, and it's just very evident that you enjoy what you do.
Yeah, I just again, we're talking out of school, everybody. But I was like, ooh, I need to get my pronouns on my screen, and he right away was like, well, you need to hit this. I was like, I'm sorry, was this your first time in here? But he knew right away. This is what we have with a trainer, someone who's got the heart of a trainer and is just willing to teach people. So thank you. And now I've got all that sorted out. But it really just does demonstrate why you do what you do and how you're so excellent at it. It seems like you're very much in the role that it was made for you.
Well, I think so too. I love teaching. I love being a part of the learning experience and just watching somebody go from, not knowing something to knowing it and then feeling confident. That's just a really beautiful human experience for me.
Yeah.
Um, and Rachel, you brought up something that I think is really cool. We're in Pride Month, and
Mhm.
at Percepta, I love that the whole year round I get to be who I am. I don't have to hide. But it's Pride Month, so we're all taking opportunities to learn and to grow and to do better, right? To make sure that people are comfortable, and
Yeah.
little things like adding your pronouns on your
Mhm.
video. For people whose pronouns might not be so easily guessed, it's great to see that you have a space where you can share who you are, and people have the same confidence to do that for themselves, so they can be
Mhm.
identified and they can be called who and what they want to be called. I think that's a huge part of pride. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate, but also to learn and to grow.
Absolutely. And yeah, go ahead, Kellen, because I know I've got comments too, but you go
No,
first.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I think that it's important that we as a company, yes, of course, we are going to celebrate Pride during Pride Month, but I think you hit the nail on the head too. And it was not even what you just said, but what you said prior about, um, you know, it's the shiny thing that we get sold on as our company. But I think it's important to know that like these social things that are going on are
Mhm.
important to us all the time, and it's something that we're. I mean, our team, and this isn't just us; it's all teams
Right.
across Percepta. I know, but our team for sure, we're always looking at how can we make sure that we're being inclusive in the sense of
Yeah.
like, for example, Mother's Day and Father's Day is not the same day in the U.S. as it is across the globe. So we make sure that we're doing Mother's Day and Father's Day for other parts of the globe as well. Just one
Right.
example, and I think that that is something that I'll tell you what, it's not easy. It could be very easy for us to say Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day once a year and be done. But like we know that that's just not the case. So I think it's really important to just talk about that a
Yeah.
little bit.
Well, and even building off that, and Thomas, love to get your thoughts on this too. You talk about the year-round thing. We even talk, Kellen just pointed out like there's Mother's Day and Father's Day. And something I've definitely learned over the years, you might even look at something like that. Well, like, of course, happy Mother's Day, happy Father's Day, but everyone's got a different experience around something like that, right? Where maybe their mother figure is not related to them, or maybe even if they don't have kids and stuff, it just hits different. But I'd love to inquire with you too, just like you talk about really feeling the inclusion demonstrated, not just spoken of, but demonstrated here at Percepta. And I don't know, do you have like some specific instances where you've experienced that, like you've really felt like people have walked the talk of saying, yes, we include you and we want to make sure that that is evident through our action?
Yeah, sure. So inclusion's work, right? To make people feel included is hard work, because we're often so we only know what we've experienced, right? and
Hmm.
and one of the ways that we can be more inclusive is just to listen to people, to get to know
Mm,
people, and to know who they are. When I came in, I didn't come into Percept as a trainer. I came in as an agent, and my trainer took the time, even in a class of 18 or 20 people, to get to know us, just to
mhm.
listen to us and to know our experiences, so that she could build an environment that we were comfortable and we could learn in, where we didn't have to feel anxious or we didn't have to be afraid of being who we are. And I love being able to take that experience and relive that in my experience with my new agents in my classroom as well.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really enjoy being in a place where to your point, Thomas, we can be who we are, and I think that that's
Mhm.
really important. And I think that that brings out a lot more productivity. Everybody's just comfortable with who they are, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine it being very challenging to kind of be like hiding who you really are and then trying to perform day to day. So I think that that's a really something you wouldn't 5 years ago, we probably would not have thought about that, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
but now there's been so much light shined on the inclusivity side of everything, where it's
Yeah.
like even the thing like we joke about it, but it's true. Like we always say, everybody says, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And it's like we, we right, we all do that, and it's not.
Hmm.
I would say it's not intentional. It's something that we've always just done. But now we're realizing we should say, hey, y'all, hey, folks, hey, everyone, that kind of thing.
I own it, Kellen. You know, that's the thing I catch myself doing all the time. And you lived in the South. I lived in the South even for a little bit. And so I embrace y'all. But yeah, it's just little things, little micro choices, decisions, and behaviors like that. But just like you said, with the adding pronouns to let people know, hey, I'm interested in yours, you know, and things like that. But you're right. Those little things can really make a big difference.
Absolutely. I think this month, you know, we think about pride, and you know, we see things like rainbows and glitter, but it's not all bad.
Right.
It's also, you know, pride started out as a protest. It's speaking up. It's finding opportunities to move forward. It's also my birthday month. Next week I'll be
Happy
31.
birthday!
Yeah, I always call myself a pride baby. You know, I'll be 31 next week, and I'm fortunate and to be young enough to have enjoyed a life that's relatively free of, you know, systemic homophobia, of a lot of discrimination, but we're living in a world where that's being challenged every day now more than any other time in my lifetime, and it's nice to be able to spend my 40 hours a week at work where I don't feel that challenge, where I get to be myself, and I don't have to experience that stress.
Yeah, Kellen, you hit this too, and that really dovetails right back to what you said, Thomas, just now. I mean, our company is focused on customer support, customer experience. And I know, you know, we do talk about this a lot, but I think we walk it as well as a company. We realize that if we want to get an output of customer experience, a positive experience for the people on the other end of a chat window or the phone or whatever we're helping them with, it's so important. And it's not just to get that result, but as a whole employee, looking at each employee as a whole person with their whole experience and the life they live outside of those 40 hours, we acknowledging that, like, hey, we have to take care of that. And the more we can make that person feel whole while they're here with us as a company, they are going to be the best performer we could ever hope to have. But plus also we're doing the right thing by them. And so it's a whole picture, I think, that, and again, I'm still newish. We were just talking about, I think I'm not quite 3 months here at Percepta, but I'm seeing it myself every week. But I love too, just hearing your perspective, because you're talking to all of those customer service agents as they're coming in every day, and that you're able to exhibit that as well. Sorry, that was a whole big mouthful of words I just shared, but
No, it's really cool. You know, and I think a lot about how things have changed over the course of just my short time in work, like being a professional and working, and it's been a lot, from like talking about mental health issues and how, I mean, when I first started working in the professional world, it there wasn't sick time days, there wasn't like this
Right.
mental health like conversation, so it was like, yeah, I'm feeling burnt out, I'm tired, but it's like, doesn't matter, go to work. And there's just been such a light shine on, and sorry, I keep using that terminology, but it's how it feels sometimes, like, on the fact that, like, look, it's cool not to be okay. It's cool to have who you are and be who you are, and like, it's sort of a kind of refresh on a lot of traditional thinking, I would say, and I think it's innovative, and it's fun to be part of the team that gets to do that here. But we know that we're not perfect, right? So I think there's always opportunities to continue to learn, continue to grow, make sure that we're all doing those things and being receptive to, if we do something unintentionally and somebody's like,
Right.
hey, I actually prefer to be called she or he or whatever it might be, that we're like, oh, cool, like, you know,
Yeah.
sorry about that, like, we didn't, you know. So I think it's just there's a lot there, and I think it's cool I think it's important to be open-minded to knowing that there might be some of that happens, and taking it in stride and just saying, yep, I hear you, you know.
Thomas, and I think you know, Kellen and I have obviously, you know, we're agreeing with what you're saying too. And we have our own experiences, but that's honestly too, we really were keen on having you on the show because your experience is incredibly pertinent, you know, and especially not just with Pride Month, but the whole year. But I would love to hear from you. Like, you know, I know we've talked about what Percepta does right, and what the good things that we're seeing, but as far as like let's think about like other companies or leaders out there, leaders who are at Percepta or leaders who might be other companies, where you kind of have employees' lives in the palm of your hand a little bit because you have that power over their 40 hours during the week. What are some things that we talked about listening, but I'd love to hear more from you. Like, what are things that you would hope people would do to get better at this, to keep getting better at this?
Yeah, I did mention it earlier that listening to people is so important, and recognizing that your experience is not necessarily their experience, and the only way you can respect and include their experience is to learn about it.
Right.
And so that's a huge thing. Giving people space to tell you, who they are and what they're looking for is really huge.
Yeah.
And I think just looking for opportunities just to be more actively inclusive.
Mhm.
And there are loads and loads and loads of ways to do that. One thing that I saw in my inbox this week, I was really happy to see, because as much as we're doing right at Percepto, we can always still be striving for improvement. And we do these monthly micro learning experiences. And the
Mhm.
one that came out last week was called "Are You an Ally?" And its tagline was focusing on ways that we can be an ally to our colleagues and their communities.
Yeah.
And I loved that, because even knowing that occurred during Pride Month, it also recognizes that there are so many other communities that need allyship, and there are so many different ways that we have identities that are privileged that other people don't possess, and looking for ways that we can be an ally to people across
Mhm.
different communities. It's something we should always be making a conscious effort to do.
Agreed.
One thing I was going to ask too, Thomas, just your opinion on, and I mean, just a pretty, open question, but I mean, if you're unsure of somebody's pronouns, for example, is it okay to go ahead and ask them, hey, how do you prefer I refer to you?
Yeah, I think that's totally okay. A really good way to ease into that conversation is to include your own, right?
Mm.
You can add them to your Zoom video. You could also put them in the signature of your email. Just make sure that you are visible, and make people feel comfortable to share who they are. But if that opportunity doesn't arise, if people don't proactively share with you, absolutely, you can let somebody know. Say, hi, what are your pronouns? And that's a great way to ask people. Instead of going and assuming, say, so do you use he, she, he, him pronouns? Do you use they, them pronouns? Just say, hey, what are your pronouns? And avoid presumption.
Yeah. I love that. And Kellen, great question. Yeah, because I think, sometimes, and, particularly if there are people in other communities that we were like, well, I'm not really a member, but I want to acknowledge, and we don't know what we don't know. And,
Yeah.
I think that's, again, I'll just put myself out there. There's been times I'm like, what do I say? How do I do this right? But you talk about the listening, and yeah, proactively saying, okay, well, I'm going to proffer this first and then give you the opportunity to give me yours. And that's a wonderful piece of advice. I also want to ask, what are you doing personally to celebrate Pride Month? Again, Pride all year round, absolutely. But I know there are events and things like that happening, particularly this month. How are you celebrating?
Yeah, absolutely. Last night I was at a Pride happy hour. I was performing with my choir. I sing with Pride Chorus Houston. So, and then last Saturday we wrapped up a whole season with a show called Love Who You Love. It was really
Mm,
fantastic. My parents drove 15 hours to come and enjoy the show with us, and that was really great. Upcoming, there are a few more events. I love to sing, and Pride Chorus Houston is a big part of my outside of work life. So we're singing Pride Night to the couple of sporting events in the city. We're
great.
building a float for the Houston Pride Parade. So lots and lots of stuff on the calendar for this month.
Well, maybe we can get some of that content and share it around, because that'd be
I was
fun
just gonna
to.
say.
Yeah, I know Meredith would definitely love that. So maybe we'll see if we can get with you and see if we can get some of that to share, because that would be really cool to just highlight that
Hmm.
a little bit.
I know we think your Zoom background's awesome. Imagine what those visuals are going to look. They'll be like, yes, let's see those. That'll be great.
Yeah. Well, you guys, well, folks, sorry. Here
See,
we go. See, hey,
but
I'm
that's
first
so
one.
great. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We're learning us on this video. It's awesome.
Yes. Uh, Thomas, was there anything else that you specifically wanted to add before we start wrapping up here? I don't want to cut you short. I want to make sure that you had time to get any points in. But if not, we'll wrap. But was there anything else you wanted to add today?
Well, I do want to say thank you for letting me be here. I love the videos. I love the leadership series, and I love what Percepta is doing, our presence across social media, and just giving people a platform to share who they are. I want to say happy Pride to everyone, and not just me. I'm sure there are so many other people in the company around the world that are celebrating this month. So feel free to send in that information as well. We would love to see what you're doing too. So thank you so much for the platform, the opportunity to speak about who I am and the things that are important to me, but also that are important to so many other people. So I enjoyed my time.
Well, and Kellen, I think, you and I both agree too. We are really taking the show in directions where it's like we want to speak to leaders, people who lead other people, and you certainly do that. And not just about like the fact that you lead people, but you have thought leadership. You have ways that we can be better at work, be better humans, and so it's been a pleasure to have you on. And thank you so much for lending your expertise and your experience here. Very much valued.
Yes, very valued. We're very thankful to have you on because we enjoy getting perspectives from across the company, and yours is definitely unique and great and fantastic. And it's our pleasure to have you on. I'll speak for Rachel and I both. It is definitely our pleasure to have you on. We'll make sure that you're not a stranger. Maybe we'll check in with you pretty soon here and see what else is going on, especially from the trainer side of stuff. So thank you again for joining. We appreciate it. Rachel, it's always fun. It's always a great time.
Same here.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you to all of our loyal fans and people that follow us. We always appreciate it. Hope everybody has a fantastic rest of your day, and we will be back.
Happy Pride. That's right. I was going to say, I'm like, happy Pride. Woo-hoo.
Thanks, everyone. Hope everybody has a great weekend.
Bye.